What's good, everybody? This is Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, and we're back at it with another Black Clover video. And this one is a theory slash. I don't necessarily think that this is going to happen on chapter 322, but it could be something to think about as far as 322 and beyond as the wrap up of this volume, comes to an end. So I don't think the Black Clover manga is ending. So at the very least, there's several volumes. So to say Asta's gonna die and then boom, story's done for, bada bing, bada boom, I don't think is the case. With everything that's going on currently in the manga, having Asta with Libe knocked out on his shoulder with something emitting from his body, some type of power, something emitting from his body. Make sure to check out my chapter review at 321 and a couple of my shorts in regards to Asta's basically his dormant power, being unleashed. And there's several things. There was a video that I saw and it was talking about basically how Asta's gonna die. And there's a lot of different things that, we got of course, the prediction from Julius. We also have the different foreshadowings as far as the Zenon and Alan and different things like that. But my theory is, instead of Asta dying, there might be several people dying, but instead of Asta dying, what if it was actually Yuno? Now, this may seem, because here's the thing. Yuki Tabata has done an amazing job in all regards. The story is freaking awesome. And so what if the whole thing was to lead us on to, as far as us thinking one way and it being another way? Now, how would this actually make sense? So there's been several parallels of brothers throughout the series in general. We have Languis, we have Langris, and we have freaking Fennel. We have Zenon, and of course, his brothers, different things like that. We got Knock, and we got Morgan, and then we got, as far as the Libe and Asta, they're at least stepbrothers, adopted brother, which would be the same thing with Asta and Yuno. Now, in some of the things that we've seen in regards to where this, ties in with Asta, is we have Knock and his brother. And of course, Morgan being the one to die, actually saving Knock. We have, and also the brotherly bond that's beyond, as far as just blood and different things like that. Even friends being brother. Like, we can look at a Licht and Lumiere situation, Now, the biggest in our face thing was as far as Zenon and Alan. Now, in this case, there's there's a couple of theories as far as Yuno actually killing Asta, and so like, you know, if there's any way Asta's gonna die, it would be through this way, and that's true. And my thing is, if this ends up being wrong, and you know, Yuno not dying, it's perfectly fine. You know, my thing is, if Asta dies, then we know he's gonna come back. This show is about him. Now, unless they made some transition and the show was actually supposed to be really about Yuno, then that might be actually pretty interesting. But the reason why I have this theory that it may be Yuno is because there's this Black Clover exhibition. Let's see if we can actually exhibition. And this one in particular, there's this picture, and then the newer one is this picture. Now, a lot of people felt like this was their bond being severed and different things like that. And I was just all like, what if that's not about a bond being severed? Because everything's intentional. A burning picture, you know, that's gotta mean something, you know, as regards to that. What if this is actually Yuno's death? Or being in a state to where he's not all himself? Because the burns are very important. I can understand if the burn went through their connection, because this more than anything is the important thing. So if it would have been a rip, or if there would have been something that was right here through their hands, then I would say that would lean more towards that happening. But Yuki Tabata has shown over and over and over and over again that Yuno does not and won't have that animosity towards Asta. A lot of people thought, as far as with the elf, you know, with him getting his elven part awakened, that, oh, that would be it, you know, that's definitely it. Or, you know, Asta working and having, you know, a devil, and then with them going into the Spade arc and different things like that there might have been, you know, all these different things. But what do we see in the most recent chapters? You know, even prior to 221, when Asta did the dope ass slash that, you know, cut down the glob of a Lucifero manifestation, and then there was this moment where Asta was looking towards Yuno's direction on the way other side of the, what you would call it, the kingdom, and Yuno was looking in his direction as well. Even let's go back to the whole Zenon fight, where Yuno was just all like, but the kingdom has, you know, that guy, he's talking about Asta. So my thing is, we have to take into consider, let's just say why Yuno dying may actually lead to better storytelling in regards to even character development for Asta. Now, another thing that, and I thought about this way earlier on, actually, because I was just all like, it's very interesting that Asta has a lot of people wanting to be his rival. Of course, his rival is Yuno, but people, even the higher, you know, captains, have stated as far as Asta being their rival. Can't forget about Fergolian's brother, You know, it's different interactions that Asta's had. So my thing was just all like, well, then that would be okay as far as the develop Asta's character, because I'm not in it for the development of seeing Asta, who's gonna become Wizard King first, you know, because if that was the case, and a lot of people want to compare this to Naruto, but I don't see it. I feel like Black Clover was able to encapsulate a lot of different things and made it its own. Like that in itself made it its own thing. But, you know, that would be something like almost seeing like Gaara and I guess, because it wouldn't be like a Naruto and a Sasuke type of thing. It would be like the way Naruto and Gaara became Kazekage like super early on. So it's just all like, if there was like looking for it for that reason to see which one of the two would become first, then there would be a lot that would be missed out on character development. My main thing is seeing Asta become the Wizard King and that process do that. And speaking of Naruto, I hope everyone's seen it because this is gonna have spoilers. Neji. Yuno reminds me so much of Neji, you know, and not necessarily in philosophies and different things like that, because Neji went through his really dope character development, you know, to the point of sacrificing himself in the war. And if there was any death that pissed me off, it was really, besides, you know, Jiraiya. But even then, I understand for storytelling. And this is why I think that in regards to storytelling, Yuno dying might actually be great. Because then I feel like with Yuno being the closest person to Asta, for him to lose that and for it to not be reversible, I think that would be super dope character development, because as far as Asta dying, we know he's gonna come back to life, you know? So it's one of those things that it really wouldn't impact like that, if you know what I mean. Like, it's one of those things that, okay, yeah, how many animes have we seen or mangas that we've read where the main character dies, but then comes back to life through some random way? And a lot of it is in regards to like demons and stuff. Shall we? Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach. Ichigo got a freaking hole blown through him. It was able to, you know what I mean? Yu Yu Hakusho, Urameshi, you know, coming back. 7 Deadly Sins. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like if Yuki Tabata goes at it in a different way and actually kills Yuno, that may be something that I feel like would make the story go a little bit in a way different direction, because it's just like, okay, Yuno is set up. Like, he's set up. He's got 2 grimoires. He's a prince of a kingdom, even though it's like, you know, demolished and different things like that. And for, you know, as far as possibilities for the future, it would just be completely crazy to just nerf Yuno off. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Do you think that the story would actually be better if they killed Yuno and left him dead versus Asta dying and then coming back to life? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to hit the like, make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bells on. Peace.
Being ready for the return to fall. Maybe I should be asleep, but these full moon vibes got me in the deep. Emotional roller coaster strapped in my seat, ready for a trip to find what I seek. Passing through the galaxy into my office, translating thoughts into deep science. Got the sun in my pocket, build your resilience. So when the next winter cycle comes, I prepare with no losses. The work of the soloists of boss. At the heart of my winter, there's an invincible summer. Invincible summer.